Hold on. You are tuned into my weekly talk radio TV show called Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced and get happy with Dr. Marissa. And this show is about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have shows and topics.
Sunday, Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days. Thursday, Friday, happy days.
Monday, Tuesday,
Happy days.
Wednesday, Thursday,
Happy days.
Friday, whatever.
Happy days.
What a day. Na, 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 na.
I love you.
I love you too.
Best known as the mom from Happy Days, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Which is exactly the kind of guest that I like. Those who have gone through life, good and bad, and then taken those experiences to alchemize them into the person they are now and doing good on the planet. I'd like you to welcome Corey Feldman.
If you're grateful for it and you say right away, thank you, God. Oh, my God, it's so beautiful. I'm so blessed. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Then guess what? More good things will come to you.
Does this sound familiar at all? She's back again to mark my Cancer Awareness and Prevention Month show. Please welcome Fran Drescher. Hi, Fran.
On and supporting cancer schmance. I really appreciate it.
So what would you say are some of the biggest myths, Fran, that people have about cancer?
Well, I would say that they think that there's a cure for it.
Okay.
Instead of a cause for it.
This is the first call-in show when I get to be Dr. Marissa, the kinder, gentler Dr. Laura. And people call in to get their life tires balanced and their critical thinking or their BS, their belief systems, smog checked. And today I am delighted to have Malie calling in from Birmingham, Alabama.
We could go 90 days and end up having terrible sex. And then you say, well, the relationship's not all about sex. Well, if I'm not getting great sex from you, then I'm going to get it from somebody else. Right?
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050,
FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Podchaser, Streaker, and more. Why so many places? I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness, because we do not gossip on this show. No scandal and no K words, no Kanye talk at all, because Kim Kardashian is actually doing some great things with my satellite sister, Kuyo Graham's organization, Spirit Awakening. So we don't say that K word anymore, but we do not talk about Kanye, because I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end. I also have special guests who watched themselves yesterday. My third film just got released yesterday. It's called Can You Handle the Truth? And it's a candid conversation with Caldwell Williams about racism. So if you want to get it now, it's free. The initial rushes are fantastic, and I'm so grateful. That is going to be my defense for not understanding Beth's email to me. You'll see I have a very special guest here today. She's not a guest. She's my co-host. She's my fitness expert. And let me bring up her bio. I just cannot believe that I completely messed this one up. I thought she said she was not going to be doing the show anymore, but she's just moving from 2 times a month to 1 time a month. And I'm going to blame the film, because I literally, Beth, worked for the last 2 weeks on Poland time. My editor was in Poland to save some money. And I've been going to bed at 2:30 after working from 10:30 to 2:30, and then getting up at 6. Not enough sleep for me. And so that's my defense. Hope you forgive me. But she's the author of an Amazon best-selling book, Think Healthy, Be Healthy, and hosts 2 weekly national syndicated podcasts. Ms. Linder-Moss is a certified health and wealth coach, certified personal and group fitness trainer, sports nutritionist, and exercise physiologist, having earned her Bachelor of Science degree from Penn State University. Beth has helped thousands take positive steps in their journey to be healthier, to have a healthier life through the written word, social media, one-on-one training, and group sessions. Please welcome back to my studio now, once a month, every first Tuesday of the month, Beth Linder-Moss. I can't believe that happened. I mean, I can believe it. Honestly, I have not been working on all 4 wheels, but it was worth it. He loved it. I can't wait for you to see it. The initial reviews are, I mean, just amazing. So it's totally worth it.
Awesome. Good.
Having breakfast. Thank you. Have breakfast now with Beth and I. You know the drill. 8 specific things that you are grateful for. I just did like 3 of them. So you can do another 5. And then on the bottom of the bun is things that we like about ourselves. And this practice is something that I wanted you to do so that you are less likely to look for love in all the wrong places and to start your day in the most positive way. So you can do 2, and then I'll jump back in.
All right. What am I grateful for? I am grateful for, I'm going to say I'm grateful for you, because you have helped me in a lot of ways over the past time that we've been together, with helping me as doing on my podcasts and stuff and making them flow a little bit better. So I'm very grateful for that. And I'm grateful for my podcast going well and getting more and more different events from it. So I'm gonna be in Women's Health magazine again today or tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna be quoted there again. So you can look for me in Women's Health magazine. I'm quoted about protein coffee, actually. So I'm grateful for some of the things that I've learned over the past, months that I've been working with you.
I am grateful that I get to learn from my co-hosts. When I thought you weren't going to do this and this was going to be your last show, I was just reviewing in my head like all the wonderful things that I've learned, and I'm so grateful that I get to continue to do that once a month with you. So I am grateful for that. Truly.
Awesome. Yes, I'm grateful for all of the listeners out there who are actually helping both of us, right? And jumping in and learning from both of us because we both bring something different to the table. So I'm grateful for everyone out there who is listening. So thank you.
Absolutely. Last gratitude is I'm grateful for air conditioning.
I see your hair blowing. I'm like, is there a fan on you?
No, I've got a portable air conditioner and it's my best friend right now. I don't do well with humidity, so that's what's been going on. And then I just worked out too because, she's when I know she's going to be on, I have to work out so I don't feel guilty. So and that's the last gratitude. And we're going to go to the bottom of the bottom. What do we like about ourselves? I appreciate that I am not perfect. I used to want to be perfect, but perfectionism is a dis-ease with life because no matter how many things you do well, you beat yourself up for the 1 out of 100 things that you don't do well, or more than I do. 88% of the time I'm fabulous, and 12% of the time I step in it, like this morning. And so I appreciate that. One, I really, honestly, Beth, it wasn't until maybe 6 or 7 years ago that I finally let go of wanting to be perfect. And I'll tell you, there's nothing better than effing up, forking up, and going, there's nothing better than that, because what I used to do, was just so hard on myself, literally. So, yeah, I appreciate not being a perfectionist anymore and giving myself a break. That's 2.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of go off of what you said. And I appreciate the fact that as I age, and my friends seem to agree with me, we are kind of able to, what you're saying is to kind of blow off some of the things. Like, I don't care what people think sometimes, right? Like, we used to, like, as you're younger, and I see it like in my own kids, they're very worried about what everyone else thinks. And as I age, I am like, whatever, like, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with like jumping in and, talking about whatever I want to talk about, but that I have, speak my mind kind of thing. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with, I teach a lot of fitness classes. I'm just going to jump in. Would used to be like nervous, like, oh my God, what are they going to think of me? And now I'm just like, I'm just going to go kick your butt and we're good, So as we get older, I'm going to go up what you said and just be like, we're more comfortable in our own skin and not worrying about what others think about us.
Beautiful. I had a guest on, Terry Cole Whitaker, and she has a best-selling book out called "What You Think of Me Is None of My Business."
There you go.
and of course, I like to make things my own, so I say, and the converse is also true. What I think of you is none of my business or your business, right? We don't always have to speak our mind. We don't always have to be brutally honest. We don't always have to tell people what's on our mind, right? That's also, I appreciate that I've learned that. And one of my rules is I will not give you advice unless you expressly ask me for it. And now I've added and pay me for it. That keeps me from giving my 8 cents worth. Final one.
That I'm a really good listener. Talking about giving advice.
What?
I'm a very, very good listener. So, sometimes, as you said, you don't always have to say everything. And, I'm not one of those people that I blurt everything out that I think, which is really good. I do have a filter for the most part. And that I am a really good listener. So I listen really well to when people talk to me, and I try to empathize as well as that I can.
Yes, and I would absolutely. I'm proof she is that. She has always been that for me. She's a great listener, and she makes me feel good when I am sharing whatever it is. So that is it for taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich this morning on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, home to the Asian Oprah, the station that leaves no listener behind. And this is the very special series every first Tuesday of the month on Step Up to Your Best Life with Dr. Marissa and co-host
Beth Linder-Moss.
Super awesome. And today's topic is a really interesting one. I can't wait to see what kind of research you've done, because I know you prepare very well. And then I love to do research on the spot. So yeah, I only know one food that is affecting mood. So we'll see I'm going to learn a lot today, I'm sure. But go ahead and introduce the topic for today.
So we're going to really just talk about like what you eat and how it affects your mood. There's a lot of studies that are out there that show that many times, like what we eat really does. Does it make you, more depressed or anxious and things like that? So really, that is what I want to talk about with you today. And you're saying that you know of one food, but it's normally not necessarily like, so what I was really going to talk about is like, it's kind of like the food group almost that will things that are kind of the ones that make you feel a little more sluggish or a little more depressed. And that is really your sugars and your carbohydrates that are not like complex carbohydrates, but your basic carbs. So those two are really what we're going to like kind of go into today, because that is what are the ones that affect your mood the most. Is what were you going to say?
No, I did know that. I know that from personal experience. I have to be honest and confess that when people first started talking about that they had a gluten allergy and they were allergic, I'm like, oh my God, please. Do you always have to be that special person? Now you like completely ruined it for everybody else who has to, our buffet line at a corporate event. Now we got to add a whole thing just for you. And I was horrible when it came to valuing that difference. And then the universe has a funny sense of humor. I began to notice that when I had pasta or bread or anything with flour, I would actually want to fall asleep. I would bloat. That was the number one thing that was very bothersome. Like I literally would become 5 months pregnant just from whatever that bloating was. And man, that really it made me change and respect the way that food can affect us, as well as have to apologize to some people for making fun of them, even though I didn't do it in front of them. So I made a silent apology.
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. So there are a lot of studies out there that show that if you have like processed foods, the high in sugar, high in flours, of ones that don't have complex carbohydrates and stuff, how it leads to inflammation throughout your body, your brain, and it can go right into depression and anxiety. Even caffeine can make lots of people irritable and more anxious. So basically what you want to do is we're going to talk about really of trying to avoid some of these foods so that you can feel better about yourself, because it really does affect you. What happens is that you are eating these processed foods, or you're eating high sugar foods. Like I've talked about it before, how sugar craves sugar. So once we start getting into a healthier diet, you're going to start to feel better about yourself, because what does some of this cause? It causes fatigue. We feel sluggish. We were like, don't want to do anything, right? It's also our stress levels go up. Now, you were probably feeling stressed because, oh my God, I look like I'm 5 months pregnant, and I can't believe I just look like I ate 5 months pregnant. I'm trying to do everything right, and now I don't look good in what I'm wearing, and that's like getting us all stressed out, because you have somewhere to go or somewhere to be, and you need to be in front of a camera or in front of a people that you want to see, or that you're doing a presentation for work, whatever it might be, right? And that increases our anxiety. So there's, right, like, it's just like we get stressed out with this, that, and some of this stuff, it's right, it's avoidable. Like, that we can control some of, we're not going to control all of our depression. We're not going to control all of our anxiety, and all of our stress. But the things that we can do is to have like a more balanced diet and be able to control that portion of it. Right.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just doing my favorite thing. Specific foods that affect mood. The one that I know about is cashews. Cashews are a natural antidepressant. Did you know that?
I have heard that for sure.
Yep. And so I have like a thing of cashews in my car that I, pull out.
There's also like, so a lot of times, what happens is like there's inflammation from what we eat as well. So
Yes.
when you get the inflammation, what you want to do is, if you could eat things that are going to have anti-inflammatory factors to it, that will help as well.
Yes. And I want to just emphasize that. Let me do this one first, and then I'm going to come back and emphasize what you just said, because that's like huge important. Dark leafy greens, kale, spinach, broccoli are part of a healthy diet. They're loaded with vitamins and minerals like magnesium, potassium, folate, B12. Consuming more of these foods can improve your mood and decrease feelings of depression and anxiety. Now, the reason why this is so important for us to be talking about is there are more and more people post what I'm calling it SD, post-pandemic stress disorder. They've been isolated. They're having a tough time getting back out there. Increased focus on anything brings out more of it. That's just one of those laws of law of attraction. So you think that more and more people are depressed. Maybe they were always a little bit depressed, but because we weren't focusing on it, it didn't necessarily come out. So now it's coming out, the level, very high level of depression, sadness, anxiety, and all of that. And if you have a genetic predisposition to depression, you're from a family, does not mean you are condemned to that condition. And I love that you picked this topic, because some things you can't do anything about, but other things you can do something about. That's serenity prayer, right? Except the things I cannot change. You have a family lineage of chronic depression. The courage to do the thing that I can. Nobody puts a gun to your head to have donuts for breakfast every morning. And you were talking about inflammation, sugar, right? Flour, processed food. You got 3 whammies in every donut. Now, I'm talking to myself. I do enjoy a Krispy Kreme every once in a while, or a maple bar. But I know that if I choose every morning to eat that, I'm going to start the day feeling like crap, physically like crap, and mentally like crap, because I'm beating myself for doing that.
Right.
Times that I do eat one, I am one with my Krispy Kreme donut, and I don't beat myself up for it. And I know that I'm enjoying the crap out of it, literally.
Well, that's the thing. There's a balance. That's why it's like called a well-balanced diet, because when we talk about balance, it's all about balance. Like nobody should ever tell you you can never eat a certain food again. That as long as you're not like allergic or to it or whatever, right? But like, like a donut is something that you're craving, right? Someone shouldn't tell you should never have that again, because that's all you're going to want, first of all, right? And so when you say balance, yes, every once in a while, enjoy whatever that food is that that you're craving. And like it's no different than like people would always say to me, because I'm very healthy and my kids are healthy, the food in my house is healthy, I should say, right? So people would say to me, well, do you ever let them have ice cream? Do you ever let them have sugar? Do you ever have? Of course I did, because if I didn't, then they would go out and they would like binge, right? And they would just be binge eating all the time when they weren't here. So I want to be able to show them that they can have a healthy, balanced diet, because that's what it all comes down to. It's all about balance. It's not about that you should deprive yourself of anything. But if you have that balanced diet, then you know that you're going to feel better about yourself and you can control some of these things. It's no different than we were talking about, or I'm sure I've talked about it many times, as to you can help to control your cholesterol and things like that because of what you're eating and what you're exercising and all of that kind of stuff. So it's the same thing that comes into our mood. Depression is also, part of, and anxiety and all of that is one of the risk factors of coronary artery disease, which we want to, that's a way to help yourself. So you need to make sure that you understand when we say balance, it doesn't mean never again. It's the same thing when I also talk about that a diet. We're not on a diet anymore. There's no more diets. We don't diet anymore. We just learn how to make wiser choices, right?
That's such a good point. And if you've just tuned in, I see some eyeballs rolling in. It's Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show at a new time slot here at 9 a.m. Pacific time, at noon for lunch, people on the Eastern Coast. And this is a step up to your best life with my fitness show expert, Beth Linder-Moss. We're talking about food and mood. So do certain foods, are they better for you, worse for you? And then the reality of craving. Now, I do know that for some things, like this isn't a food, but alcohol is one of those you cannot break the have once in a while, okay? Because people with alcoholism have a body, I don't know what, I guess a unique thing that happens. When you have one, your craving compulsion takes over, and then it's impossible, no matter how logical you are, no matter how many things you're going to lose, you just can't help yourself. So that's why for that group, they cannot have one. Okay. So I think sugar addiction for some people, they can't stop after they have one.
Right.
So I just want to clarify.
Yeah, like with the sugar, I say also sugar craves sugar. So you need to understand that if you're going to try to give it up, it's 1 week, and you will most likely be able to break that sugar like addiction to it of your body that's always like craving it.
Oh, really?
It doesn't really mean that you can't have sugar again. Like obviously there's better options. You can have stevia. And if you use the drops are way better. The drops are way better.
Why does it have such an aftertaste?
The drops really don't have much of an aftertaste. The packets do. I find the packets, I don't like the pack. I don't use it either. And I very rarely use stevia, but that is a great sugar alternative. And you could also use like, agave or honey and stuff like that too, because those are healthier. And if you get honey, make sure the honey, if you can, try and get like a local honey, because then you get two benefits of it, because you're using honey. And then you can also help with your allergies if you use a local honey, because then your body in it, they have them from the local bees and stuff. So
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
You can find like a local honey person. You can get local honey. But it is like, it really takes like a week and a half to get off that sugar kick. And then it's not that you can't have it again. It's just that you're going to say, today is the day, on Friday night, I'm going to have whatever it is. And then, after that, starting Saturday morning, we're back on, but that you just have, it's the balance that you really have to understand. So I do want to say that. So there was a study about food and depression, and it was a 12-week study. And what they did was they took the group and they split it in half. So both groups were in therapy for depression, okay? And they were both on meds, or whatever they had to take for themselves, whatever they were doing, right? And then and then they gave them, one group was on a very well-balanced diet, and the other group got to eat whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and free for all. And what they found is that in the group that had the balanced diet, over 1/3 of the group with the balanced diet was considered clinically, like through their therapist, no longer depressed. And in the other group, under 8% of the people were no longer depressed. So it was a big difference in that one group. It was a 12-week study. So in 12 weeks, you were able to get out of what was considered depression by just following a well-balanced diet. And it wasn't like a very like strict, it was just that they were, given your food groups to eat this, from, the American Dietetic Society kind of thing. And that's what it was. So it's pretty interesting to find that really, there are so many studies out there that do show it. And you have these control groups right here, and that showed right there that it really does. We can find lots of studies like that too. It's very interesting to say that, like, you took these groups, they were both in therapy, they were, both following, one was eating well balanced, one was eating whatever they wanted, and then, so you can't even say, well, they were in therapy or they weren't in therapy, and they came out and look what happened. Like, it's amazing to see, like, people normally don't think that it is like that food can make such a big difference in our mental health.
Yeah, except maybe oysters. So here, food and mood. This is from Cleveland Health, because I love learning. I have an excuse to eat things that I like. So here, complex carbohydrates like sweet potatoes, rolled oats, beans, quinoa. They increase the availability of feel-good chemical serotonin. So now, I've never liked beans, but now beans might be a possibility because I like good feeling, right? Serotonin. And then protein consumption, fish, beef, chicken, turkey, tofu, beans, eggs, and unsweetened yogurt has been linked to higher levels of dopamine and norepinephrine, which are brain chemicals that help your mood, motivation, and concentration. And then finally, I love this part, boost happiness. Which ones? Fruit and vegetables high in vitamins, minerals, like omega-3 rich fish. Chilean sea bass is my favorite. Vegetables, fruit, nuts, olive oil. So all of those things. And I just had a banana too. So potassium, I am feeling better. And I'd had some really bad foot and leg cramps right before we came on live. And I just went and downed a couple more daily vitamins. And it definitely does change what's going on in your body. So I did want to say too, to just provide even more support for what Beth is saying around the sugar. So when I had 2 cancer research doctors on a couple months ago, they now have done definitive research on a specific sugar link that does that cancer cells love. And it will allow them to duplicate and proliferate more and more in your body. So that was a huge thing to support why it's so important to watch what you're putting in your body, and that you can control that, as opposed to thinking like the only thing that's going to help is chemo or radiation. I'm not saying that you only do that. I'm again, when it comes to cancer treatment, I'm all about balance. I don't think that, only doing the Eastern medicine is great, or only doing the Western medicine is great. Everybody's different, and things are going to respond differently, but definitely diet is one of those things.
It's amazing. I know most people just don't realize because they look at it as weight, and it's not just weight. And that's the whole thing. Like, there's so much more to what we're putting in our bodies, that it's just not only about weight. Because somebody will be like, oh, I'm just, going to go through a drive through or whatever. I'm skinny. Well, it doesn't matter how thin you are, right? Because you can be extremely thin and not look like you have to work out, but like, it's the same thing. You need to work out because there's so many benefits to that, but you need to eat healthy, because we're sitting here telling you all, like, so many of the links. And one of the links is mental health. And mental health is huge. And, ever since COVID, obviously, it's even bigger and more profound, that everyone is like, looking at it and being affected by it. So it is really beneficial to really think about, doesn't matter if, your BMI is fantastic and you don't even have a good diet. It matters because it's more than just what your BMI is. It's more than what your weight is. It is all about what we're talking about today, is the mental health part, but there's so many other portions to it as well. But talking about mental health, because it affects everyone. I mean, like, you're having a bad day. What did you eat today? Sometimes, right? Like, I'm not feeling like alert. I feel like I can't concentrate. I feel like my attention span is off. And what we eat affects that as well. And nobody thinks that you do. But like, as you were saying, it's the green leafy vegetables that are, that you should be having. It's the, the oats, the complex carbohydrates. When we say that, it's not your white potatoes, it's not your white pastas. It is your, having your sweet potatoes, which is something that you've already said, your rolled oats, things like that. Those are the things your body's able to break down and not give you those insulin spikes and stuff like that. And that's why you're able to, when you have that, you can be at work, or you can give your kids the attention that they need, or whatever it is that you're trying to do, because what you eat really does affect more than just your weight.
Yeah, absolutely. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering what we're talking about, we are talking about ways in which you can control your happiness. You can up-level yourself and your mood with what you eat. And I have my special series every first Tuesday of the month. Her name's Beth Linder-Moss. She is my staff health and wellness expert. And if you have any questions for her, you can get a free consulting session right now. She does do private coaching on this. She has a plethora of ways in which you can get what she knows for free on her social media. She's Beth Linder-Moss. If you just Google that, you'll find her. She's got a website. She's got a book. Think
Healthy, Be Healthy. You got Instagram. I got TikTok. There's so many ways to find me. And also on my TikTok and Instagram, you'll find workouts, but you'll also find health tips as well. So
absolutely. So just feel free to pipe in. I see eyeballs, and you can use the chat, because this is Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, new morning, 9 a.m. slot, the station that leaves no listener behind. Now, I did want to also, we're talking about balance, we're talking about choices, and I want to talk about something that people make fun of me in a good way, because every once in a while, everybody knows I'm a foodie, and, I lost, 30 plus pounds in a year. And one of the reasons was because I'm still a foodie and I still enjoy. But what I wasn't doing, and many of us are in this boat, we're in that rush here, do this, do that, do this, end up in do. We're not really ever anchored in the moment of the moment. We're not in the present. We don't have the gift of life because we're reading when we're eating. We're talking when we're eating. We're scrolling when we're eating. We are on the run, on the go. We are not there when we put the food in our mouths. So I have this new discipline called I am being one with my food. So when someone starts to talk to me or ask questions during a meal, I will say, talk to the hand nicely. And I'll say, just give me a minute. I need to be one with my food. Here's the phone. Could you record this? And they will film me being one with my food. And, I don't really care if you think I'm stupid or if I look funny because, what you think of me is none of my business. But there's actually a teaching point in this, because when we are actually tuned in and dialed in to the taste of that delicious, whatever it is that's going down, right? What happens too is we work our muscle of awareness. Beth was talking earlier about how we're feeling in any given moment. How many of us have no forking clue how food affects us because we don't pay attention? So this week, the Happy 88 Challenge is when you're eating, be one with your food. That's number one. And then write down 20 minutes later, how you're feeling, and make that link from what you're eating to how you're feeling, because your body may not follow the studies. There may be some things that are not on the list. The one thing that everybody knows is processed. Anything processed does have those, what is it? Mikey can't pronounce all those things that make your food stay longer, right? Yeah. All those.
I always say if you can't pronounce it, you can't eat it. Done. Yeah. That's it. Because all those chemicals are so hard to pronounce. So if you can't eat it, if you can't pronounce it, it's off. Don't just put it away, take it off. Don't even buy it. Like that's the bottom line.
Yeah, for sure. And it's a double solution. People say, I don't have the time to make home cooked meals. Bullshitaki. So one thing that hashtag COVID silver lining has taught us is we can come back together and make dinner or lunch a family deal, right? So everybody's not running around. We're forced to be together, and you can co-opt and make cooking now like it used to be, right? A family activity, working with foods that you can pronounce because they're fresh from, a store instead of a drive-through.
Well, right now, how many people have gardens right now? You have like the best fresh fruits and veggies right now. Like this is like little, I don't know if do you have gardens all year round? I don't know if you guys do, but we don't on the East Coast. So, but on the East Coast, our gardens are like full bloom right now. People are giving me like, some of my clients just gave me vegetables like galore. Like I'm so excited. Like tomatoes. Tomatoes is one of those vegetables that we were just talking about, or it's actually a fruit that is like an anti-inflammatory actually. So indulge. And if you have a yellow one, it's even better because there's no acid in it. But yeah.
I love learning new things. Yellow tomatoes do not have
nearly as much acid. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But like use the things like we were talking about, like do it together. Absolutely. And the other thing that you're saying, like everyone can cook dinner. Well, no, just say, you're going to be busy, like prepare over a weekend, like make some meals ahead of time. You can make it maybe on a Saturday or Sunday with your family, make some extra meals, put them in the fridge, put them in the freezer, and then you can have them ready to go. Like that's what or snacks. You could do that with snacks too. And you're talking about having cashews in the car. I always tell people to like take those little the smaller plastic baggies, the snack bags, put some in there, because if you have a box of cashews in your car or like one of those ginormous bags, you're going to help yourself to a little too many. So 3 little, zip them up, put them in so that you have like little grab and go kind of bags that you have, so that you don't eat quite too many, because you can like, overdo on some of those, because those are very high in fat, although they're very good for you and they are a good fat. You're still, a balance of how much you should be eating. So, but you can pre-prepare. You can pre-prepare though. Like, so, and the other thing, people who are also very busy, not that I tell people also, you can go to like a Costco and get a chicken for $5. So I don't want to hear like it's too expensive. You get one of those, they're good sized chickens, pre-made. Take the skin off, boom, you got it. Right there, you can have your protein is already cooked for you. And not only what takes the longest is the protein, and it's already cooked for you. Just take the skin off and you're good to go.
So I learned something about that chicken at Costco. I never knew what a loss leader is. Have you heard that as a sales marketing tool?
No.
So they are things that actually are more expensive than people are selling it for the express purpose of getting you in there to buy all the other things that you really don't need, right? So you notice where that chicken is in the store. Do you know where it is? All the way in the back. That's what a loss leader is. See, I got to explain a new term to you. I just love learning new things. But
I did hear that's why they had it, but I did not know the term for it. I knew that they did that because it did get you in. But the only thing I would say is it's also right by me, it's right near the fruits and veggies. So just steer your way towards the fruits and veggies. Oh, and while you're there, at Costco, you could pick up a new pair of like exercise leggings. That's okay. Because then you can go
we're going to have to out. You better cut this part out and go to your Costco and say, we would like a sponsorship for the show. Because we just gave them a whole bunch of love on the air, right? On camera. So,
but seriously, just go. You could also run in and run out because they have the self-checkout now. So you can run in, get your chicken, and run the heck out of there too. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they have the self-checkouts. So you can get in and out really quickly now. So run in, get your chicken, and run out. And you don't have to spend any extra money except for $5 for dinner. Easy.
There you go. There you go. Solutions galore here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show now at 9 a.m. And we are talking about food and mood and making good choices when it comes to what you put in your body, because it really does help up level your happiness. So, there's way more than the short term, I got to have that craving food, versus long-term health. That's what we are all about, and up leveling to 88% happy.
If you think about it, right, when you're really not you in particular, but when some people are really upset, what's the first thing they go into? The freezer, they get that ice cream and they start eating it, right? Right. And then it's sugar. It's all sugar. And what is sugar? It's not gonna make you feel so good after, right?
Yes.
So or even maybe they go for a pizza or whatever. Like all these foods that we're talking about, like all the comfort foods, right? The ice creams, the pizzas, and all of that kind of stuff that you eat. Is it really comfort food? Because it's actually making you feel worse. It's
a new term, discomfort food.
Yeah, there you go. Because they really do make you feel worse, because first of all, not only does it make you feel worse because of what you're putting in your body, and then after you finish that ice cream or pizza or whatever it is or you were wanted because you're so upset that you're eating, right? That you're then upset because you did it. Then you're upset because you're probably going to gain weight from it. Then you're upset. It just goes on and on and on. So the food itself is a part of depression. And then you're going to keep going on and on and on and making it worse. So
yes. Yeah. You're bringing from the physical cellular level into the emotional mental level. Right. So it's like a lose all the way around. So, negative Nike. Just don't do it. Don't put it in.
When I'm upset, not everyone does this, but I literally will go out either for a walk or a jog, and I'm like, I just got to get out of here, and I go for like a walk or jog. Not that everyone's going to do that, because I know everyone's like, "Or not you, Beth," But the first step is really just think about, before you put it in your mouth, just think about like what it is. Like have a balance. Like know that if you're upset, think about, should I really be going for whatever it is? If you want to go and eat some, cucumbers and hummus, go for it. Right? But like,
that's what I was going to ask you. Are there healthy comfort foods?
I think
cucumber and hummus.
I really feel like it's personal. Everyone has their own personal comfort food, really, in general. But if you could find a healthier version of, what you're having, instead of ice cream, maybe you could have like, some, I don't know, frozen fruit, make a frozen smoothie,
Okay.
So
that's a good,
it's still frozen. And and technically, just so you know, if you use frozen fruit, it makes it thicker. So you do need to like use a spoon a lot. You can make it by using less, but if you use like less like almond milk in it, then the thicker it is. So you can make it thick and make your own kind of ice cream out of it.
Okay. And I'm sure a lot of these recipes and ideas are in the back of your book, right?
Yeah.
So give me 3 good choices for comfort food that are healthy, that are in your book.
Well, I'd have to, here, I'm going to take my book out. I'm going to take my book out. I don't remember all the recipes in my book. So I'm going to take my book out. And, chia seed pudding. All right. Chia seed pudding. Beautiful. It's a pudding. But it's chia seeds. So it is very healthy. That is something you do have to make in advance, though. Let's see. We have a berry protein shake. So like I said, you can take the fruit, you add protein into it, and you're going frozen. So you can make it more into, if you want to make it thicker, you add less almond milk or whatever you're adding into it, or more ice and stuff like that to make it thicker. And you have to use a spoon for it. And that would be like more of like a comfort food in that way.
So let me interject for a second, because I forgot to ask you this last time. Milk. Let's talk about milk for a second. So I watched some documentary that about the food and whatever of America and the food pyramid, and the people who created this food pyramid were on the board and were selling the things that they wanted you to have. So cow's milk, goat's milk, almond milk, soy milk. Tell me what you have learned, what's healthy and not healthy about all these milks.
So basically, what I recommend, I can tell you what I recommend, and that is kids, if they can, and they're not allergic to dairy, they need the dairy. They need it. They need the fats in there because they need it for the brains. So you don't want to limit that on the kids. But us as adults, we don't need it anymore. Our brains are fully fully developed. And so we don't need the cow's milk anymore. And so I suggest that people go to the almond milk, the cashew milks. If you have a nut allergy, you can use coconut milk. I don't recommend soy milk at all.
Why?
Stay away from the soy, because soy can lead to breast cancer. Soy is a link to breast cancer. So
I didn't know that.
I definitely don't recommend that you have high soy levels. And if you're going to stick with the milk, because everyone's like, oh, I want cow's milk, then obviously stick to the skim milk.
So whole milk, not great. 2% milk.
Skim is the best for adults, to be honest with you. For the adults, we don't need the fats. Like, we literally don't need the fats. And so there's no reason. We need fats, but we need healthy fats. And if you're going to take in the fats, then you should be taking in your cashews, right? That's what you're talking about. You want your cashews, your nuts, your avocados. You want to take, so that you're getting your olive oils. You want to get in healthy fats, your extra virgin olive oil. But you want to get in healthy fats when you're going to take it in. So instead of taking in from cow's milk, which we really don't need anymore as adults, but children still need that. So that's different for kids. But as adults, we don't need it anymore. But we do need fats. But what we need is the healthier fats. And so if you're going to have the milk, have the skim milk. If you're going to, or have, and if you're going to have the cow's milk, it's the skim. If you're going to go the other way, cashew milk is super creamy. So if you want creamy milk, like that tastes more similar to that, then I would go with that. If you happen to have a dairy allergy, then obviously go with like a coconut milk.
Great. Do the same thing for me, butter, margarine, and if we have time, the oils, what to cook with.
So the oils, I mean, I recommend for oils, like it also depends on the heat of like how hot you're making your pans and stuff like that. But like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, those are the ones that I think are like the healthiest oils out there. We're obviously staying away from some of those other vegetable oils and stuff like that we want to steer clear of. So that is the recommendation for that. For butters, it's really, you really got to find like what butters that are going to be more organic kind of butters. I personally don't recommend a whole lot of butters out there, and try to steer from them if possible. And like the same thing, like
margarine
on toast, I tell people to put avocado on it because it's creamy. We stay away from, I also tell people in their potato, in their chicken salad or their tuna salad to use an avocado instead of like mayo. So like this way you can, because your avocado is super healthy. It is literally like the healthiest fat that's out there. So those are the ways that I would like recommend. So
I can't believe it's butter, not necessarily good.
You have to like, there's a part where I'm going to say is like picking and choosing as to if you have a sliver and how much are you having of each thing of that. Okay. If you're using it for like a little dab here and there, then it's all about balance again, right? It's all about balance.
It is all about balance.
Back we're all about balance. Because I know that we're ending in a minute, but it's all about balance. So the balance really is, if you're going to choose certain things, again, I'm not telling you can't eat anything in particular. It's all about balancing and making sure that it is a balanced diet.
Perfect. That was your final word from my co-host, Beth Linder-Moss. Thanks for joining us today. Lots of great information. If you're just tuning in, you can get this entire broadcast on my YouTube channel, which is my central. Please free subscribe. You'll also get tons of different red carpet interviews, Halle Berry, etc. And then my new film that I would love to get a review from you. Also this Saturday, if you are free, actually tonight as well, I'm continuing to add financial success as part of up-leveling your happiness. I can tell you to be happy all I want, but if you're not making enough money to survive, then it's time that you come to a workshop this Saturday, free in Calabasas at my own business coach, John Shin. He's the producer of Think and Grow Rich, the movie. So just contact me, message me, and I'll get you that link to register. Free lunch as well. And remember, it's all about balance. Peace out. World peace through, inner peace. Now go and have the best day ever. We'll see you tomorrow. Frank, I guess we're I do have 1 second then. Tomorrow I have a new co-host. So you're going to have to come and listen to her, Shannon Miller, not the gymnast, but we're talking about business and happiness. So come back to that.